Hey, Silvia in Siler City, North Carolina. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and it's always nice to ship to my home state of North Carolina. And I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses for your new Coach. This is model number 6037, also known as the Kinslee. Hopefully we can see that. To everyone else, this is model number HC 6037. The color is 5002, which is the shiny black. And this comes in the 53 eye size with the 16 bridge. This is the black and silver, or the black and platinum Coach. And I'm going to get these cut for you with your prescription and anti-glare coating. And from what I hear, this is your first pair of glasses. So way to start with a nice pair of Coach. Of course, this is your Coach case. You can smell that Italian leather. And of course your Coach cleaning cloth, and I'm also going to provide you with instructions on how to care for that. But for now, I'm just going to pop out your original demo lenses. One of them says Coach there, and you will receive all of this when I ship to you. And I'm going to put your frame into the tracing element of my new edger, and this is now going to trace the shape of your frame. It's going to start with the stylus is popped up, and it's going to trace the shape of the right lens before moving over and tracing the left lens. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, when you buy a genuine authentic Coach frame, you will receive free clear single vision prescription lenses for free, or non-prescription fashion lenses if that's your thing. If you have vision insurance or flex dollars and you just want a really nice pair of glasses, I can send them to you, and my receipt has my federal ID tax number so you can get reimbursed, again, should you have any vision insurance or flex dollars. And of course, all you paid for is the extra $40. I'm rounding up 1 penny. This frame sells for $180. The anti-glare adds $39.99, so your total is $219.99. So I've traced the shape of your frame that is pulled up on the machine. Let me go ahead and get your lenses prepped and ready to go. Your prescription is plus a quarter, minus a quarter at 168. So I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my very dusty Marco 101 lensometer. Your prescription is plus a quarter, minus a quarter at 168, so we're at 168 there. Put the power drum. I'm just going to test one thing that we're zeroed out. I'm going to place that on plus a quarter. I'm going to put your lens in and rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. I'm going to check your astigmatism correction, and I'll explain what all that means in a little bit. It means you squint without your glasses. That's what that means. Of course, this is the right lens, and you cannot see that, so let me darken that. I'm going to put a dot there, there, and there. That is your right lens. Let me do the same thing for your left. Plus 75, minus a quarter at 136. So I'm going to spin the axis wheel to 136. And take the lens out of its protective sleeve. Put the power drum on plus 75. And again, rotate the lens until it comes into power clearly. Bring that up. And check your astigmatism. We are good there. Put 3 more dots on your lenses, and hopefully you can see that. If not, let me darken that. That is 1, 2, and 3. That is the horizontal meridian that tells me exactly where the lens needs to be rotated. So put these back in there and get your lenses ready. And let's put your right lens up there. And the reason why I put these dots on there, actually, first let me put your pupillary distance, which is 58, so that's 29 for both eyes. So I'm going to set your pupillary distance at 29. That is now your new optical center. The blue dot is the geometric center, but I'm going to place your optical center, that middle dot right there. Get everything lined up where I get a little yellow X. Maybe you can't see that, but it shows me that is perfect. So I need to use a white block to do this. So I'm going to take, this is a block, this is what's going to attach to your lens while it is cutting. So 3M makes a double-sided adhesive sticker. Pull that off, the black side is the sticky side. Put that into the machine and hit go. And that arm is going to press the block down onto your lens. Let's do the same thing now for your left lens. Put that there. Pull the sticker away, get that lined up. Of course, 29 millimeters for your left eye as well. And hit the blocker button. Oops, you know what? I missed. I was paying it. Let me pay attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. Bring up your left lens one more time there. Make sure I've got the center of it. That is the left. So let's put those 3 dots. Hopefully you can see 1, 2, and 3. And right there is where your optical center is. Get that lined up. There's the little yellow X. Hopefully you can see that. Now let's hit that button and push the block down onto your lens. We are good to go there. So, because these are the white blocks, the last job I cut, I had to use these little red blocks. So due to the side, I'm going to change these out. That's the one thing I have to do on my new edger. I have to pay attention. I have to substitute it for the larger blocks that hold the white blocks in place. So I'm going to put this down. This is what's going to hold your lens in place while it is cutting. Woohoo! Go easy. I'm sure. How much is this? And watch me lose it. And I need this little black part right there. Stick that one on there. Get rid of the red one. Now I can cut your lenses. So I'm going to pull the shape up onto the computer. I'm going to hit the tracing button. And yes, we are good to go. Now there's not going to be polished and polycarb on soft because of the anti-glare coating. So I'm going to put that in there, and actually the magnet will hold that in place. The actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right. This is what's going to grind it down to the final shape. And then it's going to apply a safety bevel that I used to do by hand on this machine, but the new edger will do it, and this little blade is what's going to put the safety bevel. The safety bevel, let me hit the start button. The door is going to close. The safety bevel is, you still have some rough edges on the side of your lens when it's done cutting. So that's going to smooth out what would be a little rough edge, so everything is nice and smooth on the edge of your lens. So it is actually tracing now. As it goes around. Of course, that's the shape of your lens. If we put this right lens on there, it would be the same shape. But it's going to go down and start cutting. And I've got it to cut on the slow cycle because of the anti-glare coating. Now the anti-glare coating does three things. Primarily, the first function is it eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but also from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights like I have above me. The second feature, the reason why a lot of people get it, is the cosmetic factor, is it's a reflection-free lens. The lens on my right does not have that coating, and you can see how the lights from above reflect onto the lens. Yours does have that, so it makes for better eye contact. When someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. And the number one reason people get it, if someone takes a picture with a flash, you don't see the flash lit up in the lens, they see just your eyes. Now the third feature that I like is the practical side, where it comes with the best scratch coating in the business. It is a $1 million machine that applies the coating to your lens, and it's actually 7 layers, and it takes 24 hours to apply. And because the machinery costs so much and the time that the lab has invested in it, they applied the hardest scratch coating on top of that to protect their investment. So now it's actually smoothing out and putting the bevel onto the lens. Before, it is actually just a flat edge like a nickel. I could take it out and it would stand up on the counter. So it's actually now putting a bevel, a little V-shaped bevel, so it's going to stay inside the bevel of the frame and not pop out. So it is washing away any optical sawdust that could residually be on the lens. So that's why it looks like it's in a car wash now. And as soon as it's done, we'll take it out and we'll see if it fits into the frame. So that wheel that just came into place, now it's going to apply even a finer safety bevel to smooth out those rough edges like I had talked about before. It does the front surface of the lens and then the back surface. Actually, in this case, it does the back surface before moving over and doing the front surface, even though you can't see any of that. So in just a moment, we'll hear a beep, the door will open, and we'll check to see if your lens fits. So I will open up the chuck, and we will take your lens out. And the first thing I want to do is actually dry your lens off so it's not slippery while I try and mount it. So I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first here, and then using my thumbs I press down at the nose. It's still a little bit large, so I'm going to take about 2/10 of a millimeter off. Let me get my very expensive stylus here. And what I'm looking at is number 0.5, 0.1, 0.15, 0.2 tenths of a millimeter. Hit the retouch button. Now there's the golden rule. You can always take more off of a lens, just like you're cutting a piece of wood. You can always cut off more, you can never cut off less. You can never add it back on. So I start a little bit large and then I work my way down. So it's going to go back, and instead of going to the cutting wheel, it's just going to go to the bevel wheel to smooth out about 2/10 of a millimeter. And to all my American friends who have no idea what a millimeter is, this is a PD stick. I have inches on one side, millimeters on the other. A millimeter is the distance between my thumbnails, so I'm taking 1/5 of that distance off around the circumference of your lens until it will easily mount into the frame. The reason why I don't want to force it is that it can cause the frame to stretch, or even worse, to roll. If you can imagine your frame being a gutter, if I put it in too large and it causes your frame to stretch, the force that's applied is going to make the frame roll outwards, and it's just an ugly cosmetic look for the finished product. And because I'm a one-man job and I cut every pair that gets shipped all over the world, you want someone like me who's a perfectionist cutting your lenses. So when the door opens, I will hit that button to open up the chuck. I will pull your lens out, dry it off again, and then let's tuck it in again at the outside corner. Now using my thumbs, I press down at the nose and it snaps in easily. So let me do the same thing for the left lens now. I'm going to put that into the chuck. The magnet's going to hold it in place. Flip this over to L, which stands for not right, I believe. And let's go ahead and hit start. You like that neat sound effect? The chuck is closing. And just like before, it's going to trace the shape of your lens. This time the left lens, to make sure it is large enough to fit into the frame. Of which it is. It's just a routine operation that it does every time. It's also measuring the thickness of your lens as it goes around to know exactly where to place the bevel so it will fit best inside your frame. Automatically measuring the thickness at every point going around the circumference of your lens. Now once this begins cutting, I will continue to work on your right lens. And it's actually cutting a little slower than normal because of the anti-glare coating. It's a hydrophobic coating, meaning that it hates water, which is nothing going to happen if you get caught in the rain. It just means that you will never have to use a liquid again to clean your cloth. I'm going to provide, Coach is going to give you a cleaning cloth for your frame, and I'm also going to provide one of mine, and with instructions on how to care for both of your cleaning cloths and your case, so it will last you for years. But just like when you wax your car, the anti-glare coating being hydrophobic, whatever liquid gets on your lenses will fall right off. So I'm going to spin my axis wheel back to 168. I'm going to put the lens in right above that red dot. That is your optical center that's going to sit directly in front of your pupil, so I want to read the prescription right there. Put that in there. And I'm reading +1/4. That is one tick mark over that. Check your astigmatism correction, which is -1/4, and we are back to plano, which is 0. The way your prescription works, the way every prescription works, the unit of, you've heard of ounces, gallons, and pounds, where the unit of measurement we have in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. Starts at 0, being plano, better known as non-prescription, and goes up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. So you only need one step of correction in your right eye. Your lenses will actually magnify. That's why there is a plus sign. Now you have one step of astigmatism, which is the smallest amount you can have. This first number makes everything the correct size. This second number takes away fuzzy edges. Think of astigmatism correction as the fine-tune knob. Without your glasses on, that's why you squint, because 6s and 8s, P's and F look alike, the letters. So with your, and the axis is 168. That's where we turn that fine-tune knob, if you will, to make everything nice and clear. A straight line is anywhere from 0 to 180. We're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 168, which is almost at 180. For your left eye, we're only going to turn it to 136. Now the first two numbers are real values. Your left eye is +75 -1/4, so you need 3 steps of correction for your left eye, and again, but only 1 step of astigmatism correction. So most of your glasses will just magnify, but people with higher amounts of astigmatism really love that anti-glare coating because they have a lot of trouble driving at night because of glare from oncoming lights. So let me hit the button and take your left lens out. and we'll see about getting it mounted. It is a couple steps stronger. We may need to take this down in size if we need to. Let me grab your frame. Again, I tuck the lens in at the outside corner first, and then using my thumbs I press down at the nose. It snaps in easily. So let me take the block off since it is no longer needed. And I'm going to go ahead and inspect your frame, or inspect the left lens. So I need to turn the axis wheel back to 136 on my dusty Marco 1 lensometer. You see how dusty it is? You'll get a chance when I get in closer. I'm going to put it in front of the viewfinder, which is just like a microscope, right at that red dot. Turn the power wheel and I'm getting plus 75. Check the astigmatism correction, which brings me to 0.50, which is exactly halfway between 0 and 1. Remember high school algebra, where you add two opposites together? So plus 75 minus a quarter is plus 50, and that's where we're at. So that is made correctly. Your pupillary distance is 58, so I'm going to turn the card over. I'm going to place the 0 on my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then when we measure on the left lens, we're getting 58, so I nailed that one. Couldn't make that any better if I made it myself. So that is made accurately too. And then the last thing I want to do before I ship to you is clean these red dots off. And plus this gives me time to explain that when you get these in the mail, if they're too loose or too tight, or more realistically, if one side is higher than the other, that's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. So don't worry when you put these on and these are a little crooked. Just stop by your local optical shop and just tell them that these don't fit right, and 99% of the time they will adjust them for you for free. But I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. I have one ear that's higher than the other. So when you press down on one of my glasses, there is a wobble, but they sit level on me. Flip them over, press down, there is no wobble. I close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly and they're not offline like that. And they do. And the same amount of tension on each hinge. So that's that. Silvia, I do thank you for buying your glasses from me. You could have bought them from anyone, but you bought them from the guy who's going to give you free prescription lenses. Well played, sir. But if anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, although honestly by now, if you've seen any of my videos, you know there's nothing I can't do with a pair of prescription lenses and a frame. But Silvia, hope you enjoyed watching me as I made your first pair of glasses. Again, this is the Coach. Of course, it's got the emblem there, established 1941. It says the same thing on the inside of your case. Oh, this is smell-o-vision. I wish you could smell. You're about to, don't you worry, but the smell of your Italian leather case. But again, this is the Coach, the HC6037F, also known as the Kinslee. Coach names all of their glasses. They're one of the few to do that. And of course, this is color 5002, which is the shiny black, in the 53 eye size with the 16 bridge, and the temple length is 140. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed watching as I made your first pair of glasses, and everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.